Yeah, rough one tonight for us offensively. I thought defensively there were times where we were on the same page and other times where we were not. And, sometimes that is just a lesson to be learned where you can't just, because you're at home, think, things are going to fall your way. Calls are going to go your way. It's a grind every single night out. And when you're playing the 12th ranked team in the country with as much experience, if not more than we have, you got to be on your game. And I just didn't see the fire and the hunger in our players' eyes. Not sure why, if it was just maybe coming off a big win, losing Kennedy, but it just, even at shoot-around today, there's something off, something missing. And we as a coaching staff need to kind of quickly get our players back to feeling fresh, feeling healthy as best we can. And next opponent, we've got to take care of business at home.
Gavin, you talked about before this game about the importance of having an inside presence against Kansas State. I mean, just how much did that play into the struggles on both ends?
Well, I don't know the final count, but after we watch the film, we will. But we missed quite a bit of layups, shots that usually fall for us. And then the other thing, I think they took what Iowa State did, and they were going to let Gianna, Mayé, our post players, shoot from three. Well, our starters went 0 for 5. And so when you start missing shots, you start pressing a little bit more and, you just get a little more tense, and that leads to what else are you going to miss? You start missing layups. You start missing assignments in terms of what we're trying to accomplish offensively. And there were moments out there where I didn't know what we were running because it wasn't something that we had practiced actually the last week leading into the Iowa State game, and we kind of took a lot of what we did and what we found success. We practiced again yesterday and today, and I just didn't see a lot of it. So I'm not sure what the issue was, but it's one game. So we lost one game. That's it, and we'll get back. We've got to focus. Distractions can come in a lot of different forms, different ways, and we've got to just focus in. We just got to focus in at the task at hand, and because we're playing some good opponents and we're getting everybody's best shot.
Gavin, outside of the last part of the first half, the defense seemed at times you were throwing doubles, sometimes triples.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like you were getting lost in kind of translation a little bit. Is that why you switched to zone, or how did you kind of work that out, and kind of what were you seeing that made it so tough for that?
No, I think we were wasting a lot of energy running around. And when you're missing layups, when you're missing open looks, that kind of, it takes a lot out of you. It's like the air balloon, right? Like less and less air just comes down. And that's kind of the analogy that sometimes our offense has on our defense. So, we wanted to just give them a different look for a few possessions. And credit to them, experienced team. That's why we don't get zoned either. It's like we see zone, it's like boom, 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 shot. And so we knew it was a risk, but we did have to kind of throw something at them just to, change up the pace. But, credit to them. They're ready for everything. And, again, that's what experience does. They're a very seasoned group.
Reese, even down to the final minute, I mean, you were giving it your all in a physical game. I mean, what about about your physicality that you like to bring to just kind of show your team something? Like, what does that mean for you?
Well, like Gavin always says, just bring it, full effort, win or lose, what can you control? And one of those controllables is definitely effort. So just being able to go in there and just give it my all. You get 40 minutes, and it's important to take each of those minutes and possessions and do what you can do most with. So just always competing is a number one priority that we hone in on as a team. So just going out there and competing is what I try to do my best tonight.
To sort of follow up on that, Coach, before the game and your media availability, you talked about, the result mattering less so and focusing more on the process and that sort of stuff. How would you assess the process of tonight with your team?
Yeah, not sure where it was. I kept trying to tell them and pleading with them to focus on just the next possession, the possession at hand, and slowly chip away. They did that in the first half, right? We went into the locker room down 9, and to Kansas State's credit, probably should have been down 20, but our kids showed some fight and they came back. And then in that third quarter, we could not get anything going offensively for whatever reason. And if we had, maybe it would have been a different outcome. But that third quarter, there just was no recovering from that big of a gap.
As you mentioned, it's only one loss, but do these types of games serve as kind of a wake-up call, or what do you see as a coach in these types of games through your experience, coaching with Lynn and different things that way? Do these serve as kind of those wake-up calls to help you?
I truly believe, and maybe it's a better question for Reese, but win or lose, I'm the same. Like, I'm going to be intense as all get out because I want them to improve. Like, every day we take the court, it's about improving. I always tell them, I'm not trying to peak. I don't want our peak of our season to be in January. I don't want it to be in February. I want us to be hitting on all cylinders as we get to the Big 12 tournament and then using that to kind of springboard us forward. So that's the goal. That's always the goal. So, yeah, it is one game, but I also want to utilize, this type of game, especially at home, like to light a fire. Like our fans deserve a little bit more fight from us, and it just wasn't there in the third quarter, and maybe we're tired. I don't know. Like, that's some of the things that our sports performance team, myself, we got to evaluate and look at, and then kind of get going.
Reese, kind of same question.
I'd say it leaves a bitter taste for sure. Like, nobody likes losing, especially at home, and yeah, we can look at it as a wake-up call or we can learn from it, and I think there's a lot to take away from this game, both good and bad, and we're going to reevaluate, going to go in the locker room, watch some film, and just debrief the game and see what we can take a look at and do better moving forward. Like, this isn't potentially the only time we see this team. Like, we got, like you said, the Big 12 tournament. We're preparing not only for our next game, but this is a process, like you said. So just taking it day by day and game by game.